Spider-Man is going on a work date with Black Cat today, which is somehow going to involve running into Mary Jane and White Rabbit. This is the Amazing Spider-Man storyline happening in 2023, issues 19 and 20. To catch you up, as of right now, we have no idea why, but Peter and Mary Jane have split up. Mary Jane is with a new man and has 2 kids. Again, we don't know why yet, as it's going to be revealed in the storyline after this, but to cope with the loss of his girlfriend, Peter started dating Black Cat, aka Felicia Hardy. After battling his own clone, Ben Reilly, who demanded that Peter give up his memories, he felt it was time to just relax with his girlfriend, bringing us this episode. This is Comicstorian. I make audio dramas of your favorite comic books. Complete stories are 2 to 3 issues, featuring whatever I put into the title, while full stories are hour-long movie-like productions where we combine everything we've made before that. If you enjoy these comics, consider going to your local comic book store or digital retailer and supporting this amazing hobby. Now let's get into Spider-Man 19 and 20. It's finally time for Spidey's life to get back on track after having to deal with an evil clone, learning that his longtime girlfriend is suddenly married, and being mildly successful while working for his once arch nemesis. Alright, all that said, maybe it's not normal for the average citizen, but when you're a superhero, what really is normal? Like right now, Peter's idea of a hot date on a cool night involves taking out some of the Soho Scorchers, to which Felicia Hardy thought it would be a romantic evening in. But all things considered, Peter Parker's life is finally good. Peter is back in full swing. Norman isn't trying to kill him or the people that he loves, and even the people of New York are weirdly being friendly. However, after taking out some of the baddies, the two sit to enjoy a hot cup of cocoa. And while Peter thinks about how he can always take payment in the form of cocoa, Felicia reminds him why he's always broke. Thankfully, though, she has a better idea on how to relax for the weekend. There's a ski lodge and a spa that's upstate. Not touristy, high class, silk sheets. As much as Peter would like to argue that he really can't take the time off, he really needs this. Except there's one problem. MJ and her husband Paul are actually visiting that same resort at the exact same time. Peter tries to explain that this is purely a coincidental coincidence, but Felicia and Paul understand the real reason why they met up. Snapshot had a coupon for the weekend. Peter says that they shouldn't let this crazy twist of fate ruin their respective romantic weekends, and MJ asks, "Romantic?" Peter says, "Yes?" Felicia glares, asking, "Why is there a question mark there? Try platonic. And stop holding the robe like that. She's seen you naked before." But as Peter is fumbling for more words and makes the situation even more awkward, there's a rumble that shakes the entire lodge. Felicia whispers, asking, "Are you tingling here?" Peter says no immediate danger, but he knows that rumble anywhere. After making a hasty exit, Peter and Felicia suit up as Spider-Man and Black Cat. They make for the source of the tremor. During that, Felicia says that he really needs to admit that he's still holding a torch for MJ. The sooner he does that, the sooner they can move on. Peter asks, "Really? Because it feels like the opposite of what I should do when your claws are so close to my jugular." Felicia tells him that all relationships thrive and fail by a measure of trust. Trust her with the truth, even if he doesn't want to trust himself. But before Peter could really talk about his feelings, his spidey sense goes off and he narrowly avoids an explosion. Felicia looks up asking, Is that? Peter stops her. "Yes?" After seeing the Sinister Six trying to kill White Rabbit, a rich woman in a rabbit's outfit. Trust me, viewers, I looked it up. In the rabbit's defense, though, she's holding her own against the villains while Mysterio springs a trap trying to catch her. Peter and Felicia jump in to help, and they do a good job, but suddenly White Rabbit calls, "Time out! Time out! Everyone time out!" Felicia is stunned. Is this 3rd grade? And Peter's just shocked it worked. Is there a new set of rules for the bad guys? Because no one told me. Wait, is that Kareem? Peter recognizes one of the goons, and then begins to wonder what the hell is going on. So a short time later, everyone meets at the lodge, and Rabbit explains that these villains are actually a tech startup company doing a team-building exercise using old bad guy tech. Peter asks her, "You do realize what you're doing here is considered highly dangerous, right?" And Michael, the owner of the company, jumps in. "Formally dangerous. Everything's been upgraded and modified to include the latest safety technologies." And Rabbit chimes back in. "Yeah, it's a glorified paintball." Right, because the shocker earthquake could be felt about 10 miles away, Peter informs her. As Michael is leaving, Peter looks at Kareem asking if he's good with this. Kareem tells him, hell no, doing what he's doing is keeping him alive. This is not what he was informed they were going to be doing. They were supposed to sell the tech, give Tombstone his money, and get back to usual. But Rabbit chimes in, Tombstone's not gonna find out because we're not gonna tell him. Felicia thinks about it. Okay, actually, that's kind of brilliant, Pete. Why sell the tech when you can rent it? Peter leans in. Felicia, we're not actually okay with this, right? She tells him of course not, but this caviar goes for $1,000 an ounce. So why don't we humor them for a bit and eat at the craft foods table? Everyone begins to cheer on their weekend out. As they call for Michael to return, that's when there's a sudden scream. Everyone rushes to the kitchen to find Michael on the floor, dead, with one of Rabbit's umbrellas sticking out of him. Rabbit looks at him telling him, damn, he was really a good kisser. Felicia says that she really is a broken person. Peter then looks back telling them, all right, you got yourselves a little bit of a problem. Everyone's going to take off the tech and just chill. Except it doesn't look like anybody is powering down. With there being a dead body on set and an active superhero standing there, they all begin to power up. Peter leans into Rabbit. You installed a kill switch, right? Would it surprise you to know that I barely know how to turn on my phone? Seconds later, the lodge explodes as Peter and Felicia escape with White Rabbit and Kareem, and Rabbit says, in her defense, all side hustles face challenges. The sinister Tech 6 all shout, for Michael! For justice! And Rabbit asks if they can just off the entitled rich people. Spider-Man, of course, tells her that's a hard no. Soon the group begins to split up and the techies split to follow. Felicia and the Rabbit have very little issues taking down the ones that follow them, but Peter is left with a gangster who can't fight. He begins to web up the fake Doc Ock, and Kareem says that he's going to die. Peter then asks, at the hands of this guy? Kareem explains that he's going to die here at work at a deli. His life involves indestructible gangsters and psychos with killer umbrellas. Death is inevitable. The fake goblin flies by. You're just talking like I'm not even here! And Peter tells the fake goblin to shush. They're having a moment. And he webs up his hand, causing him to bomb his own glider. As things begin to look bad for the tech company, they call for a regroup so they can properly fight, but during that, the spider sense goes off warning Peter that something is happening, but nothing actually happens. So after getting Kareem to safety, or at least out of the way of being blasted, the fighting properly resumes and the inexperience of the tech group really begins to show as they're just taken down once again super easily. With that, Peter's spidey sense goes off again, but this time, he tackles Rabbit to the ground to avoid whatever is coming, and again, nothing happens. She gives him a big hug. Oh, Spider-Man! She tries to convince him that jealousy is a hell of an aphrodisiac and that they should make out for science, but he eventually gets her off of him. He gets up telling the techies that, look, obviously they suck at supervillaining, but lucky for them, he and his associates have a plan. The only way that they walk away from this is if they sign over their shares of the company to Spider-Man, and no one will get charged with a felony. They trafficked in illegal and highly dangerous weapons, resulting in the death of their beloved CEO. Vulture points at Rabbit. It was her! And Peter chimes back in, well, I'm a freaking Avenger. No one goes to jail if I tell the authorities that the real Doc Ock killed Michael, all for the low price of 25% of your company. Everyone sighs, agreeing that they'll give a portion of their company to Spider-Man, and his spidey sense goes off again, but this time he spins back, grabbing Michael, punching him in the stomach. Ha! I know I didn't kill anyone this weekend, Rabbit declares. Felicia asks if that's really something that she needs to question. Peter holds Michael up, asking if there's anything he'd like to share with the class. Haha, everyone, obviously I'm alive! The holographic technology in this suit is truly a marvel. Truth is, I faked my death as a loyalty test. If you're going to start a company, you need to know that you can trust everyone, and you all passed! The employees ask how, and Michael goes on stating that despite his apparent murder and the presence of an Avenger, they were willing to protect the company, though he would have liked to have seen them negotiate the blackmail a bit better. As everyone is rounded up, Rabbit says that all they need to do now is gather the suits and they'll be off. But, of course, Peter stops her. Yeah, that's not happening, Rabbit. She points her umbrella, asking, yeah, Kareem here is going to load the things up and we're going to drive away like none of this ever happened. But Kareem, wearing the shocker gauntlets, charges up, blowing up all the tech, not wanting to be a part of any of this anymore. Peter slips the gauntlets off, telling him that he's going to hold on to these while Kareem finishes being angry. Okay? Okay. Kareem explains that he lives every day in fear of whatever her next idea is. He's only here because Tombstone put him here. and things gotta change. He needs to know that she has his back or he'll just ask Tombstone for another gig. Rabbit thinks for a moment and then says that is pretty heavy. This feeling, I don't like it. Let's pretend I do care what you think. How do we go about untangling all of this, Kareem? As the two walk off, Peter raises his hand asking, criminals, we're not done here. Felicia grabs him, telling him, look, the sinister tech is destroyed. The psychopathic rich kids are all going to jail. Isn't this a win, Peter? He says that it sounds like she wants him to say the exact opposite of what he should say. So he takes a deep breath and says that MJ has been a part of his life for a long time. She is like a sister. And Felicia tells him to try again. So Peter tries again. She is like a best friend. And Felicia tells him better, but he starts overstating that he loves her. He always has, and a part of him always will, but that love has changed. Like capital L to lowercase, or the other way around, whichever one makes more sense. She kisses him. Was that so hard to admit? Actually, Felicia, it was the hardest. Felicia chimes in again. It's because you weren't telling me the truth. You were telling yourself. And since everything is all said and done, we should go see if the hot tub is available now. Peter says that they could, but what about? She tells him that they're not letting Rabbit and Kareem get away. She knows. They can still make their couple's massage reservation if they don't dawdle. Peter laughs as they take off, telling her that he appreciates her for everything. And she tells him that the pleasure is hers. Partner. So what did you guys think about this one? It was a fun little storyline written up by some classic Spider-Man writers. I actually really enjoyed it. It was a nice little bit of a decompression, a breathing space between Dark Web and what's going to happen next, which is finally going to reveal why they broke up. So if you want to know that storyline, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel because we'll be getting it to you in a hurry. Thank you guys for your continued support. We definitely appreciate it, and I will see you next time right here at Comicstorian.